I'm always on the hunt for a good compact powder. Don't get me wrong, I love my loose setting powders, like this Laura Mercier or Fenty one. But there's something special about a compact powder. First of all, they often come in beautiful packaging, which I'm a total sucker for. And they're just so convenient. You just pop open the top, remove the powder puff, and powder away. It's the perfect symbol of beauty and makeup. It reminds me of those old-fashioned movies and my mom. Taking out that powder compact in a restaurant and blotting your face is just such a classic example of a feminine woman. I mean, who didn't want to mimic such ladies when they were girls? I sure did.
First we blot. Take a look. I think it looks real nice on you.
Shelly, do you think I'm pretty?
Yes, Beta, I think you're very pretty.
Your lip bleeding?
No,
What's wrong with your eyes?
a girl can never wear enough eyeshadow.
Now that I'm able to apply powder, I realize the importance of convenience, packaging, and perfection. That's what I want in a setting powder. I want it to be quick and easy to use, like when I'm at Disneyland, for example.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Perhaps I'm a bit superficial, but I love pretty packaging. And well, most importantly, I want a flawless complexion. I think we deserve that in every powder. So in today's video, we're going to be reviewing the new Charlotte Tilbury setting powder. By the way, I love making beauty product review videos for you, so if you're also into that, make sure to hit the subscribe button. When I saw Charlotte Tilbury came out with this new setting powder, I just had to get my hands on it. Charlotte just speaks perfection to me, so I'm expecting nothing less from this powder. Best of all, this powder comes in 2 sizes, which means I can save a couple bucks with the mini size. Charlotte is a pricey brand, so I really appreciate her consideration for people like me. This powder currently comes in 4 different shades on the Sephora website, but on the Charlotte Tilbury website, you can only pick up 2. I believe in the future, you'll be able to pick up all of them. The shades are fair, medium, tan, and deep. It's cool because if you know your Charlotte Tilbury foundation shade, there's a chart on the website that'll show you the perfect powder match. I have mine in tan, which matches with the foundation shade that I have in 9. This is an ultra fine setting powder formula that has a natural finish, medium coverage, and works best on oily, combo, and normal skin. It's also made without any yucky sulfates, and yes, it is vegan friendly. Let's go ahead and see if this pretty packaged powder meets all of its claims. I'm going to first start off by applying some primer. This is a matte primer from Milk that I've been testing out and I happen to really like. I do feel like it does help keep me matte. I'm going to apply this and let it sit for like a minute or 2. Normally, I don't like to apply primer when I'm testing out a foundation, but because my skin is on the oily side and this is a hydrating foundation that I'm about to apply, I'm gonna put primer on because my face will get super oily if I don't. Another thing I've been testing out is by applying a hydrating primer on my fine lines. So I'm going to be using the Milk Hydro Grip Primer, which is very hydrating and it's meant for people who have dry skin. And I'm going to apply it to the places where I have like little fine lines. And then I also have lines around my smile line. And I'm just kind of testing this out to see if this will help reduce the lines on my face after I apply powder. I also take this and I apply it underneath my eyes, hoping that it will reduce the appearance of the fine lines underneath my eyes. If you tend to get dry around your cheeks, then you should put hydrating primer around there. But if you get oily around the T-zone area, then you set that area with a mattifying primer. I'm gonna go in with my Charlotte Tilbury foundation because I feel like why not? It also says that this will help to make your foundation look even better if you use all of the Charlotte Tilbury products. So let's go ahead and apply this using a makeup brush. They also said that this foundation works good as a concealer, so I'm going to apply it underneath the eye like I would concealer. I actually really love and did love the Charlotte Tilbury foundation when I was trying it out for the first time. And it's been a while since I've used it, but now that I am seeing it again, I am remembering how good it was. So I'm definitely going to be using this foundation a lot more from now on, especially because it's so lightweight, perfect for the summertime, even though summer is kind of ending. But yeah, it just feels so good on the skin and it looks amazing. I had no idea it was going to be this small. Regardless, it is, I mean, it is really cute, but I feel like I would have saved more money if I had just gotten the full size. This is the Laneige Lip Sleeping Mask. They are like the same size. It is way too small for me. Definitely don't think this tiny amount is worth $25. So I think I would just go and pick up the full size. I think that'll be saving you a lot more money. But the packaging still looks really nice. It feels nice. It's definitely more a little bit plasticky, but it's cute. I mean, it'll be very lightweight in my purse, I guess. Look at my cat in the background. So cute. Boots. Boots. Hi, Boots. Hello. So cute. You're so cute. I'm going to be using my very dirty Rare Beauty powder brush to apply this powder. It does recommend using a brush. I'm sure you can use a beauty sponge, which I would prefer to really get that flawless look, but I'm going to apply it the way Charlotte Tilbury would. It's also said that this will help to, this applies nicely over concealer, but because this foundation says that it works nicely as a concealer, I'm not going to be using an actual concealer underneath my eyes or anywhere else on my face, because it says that this powder also works a little bit like a concealer. It'll brighten up, you know, the forehead, it'll brighten up the under eyes. So I want to see how it looks without concealer, because if I don't have to use concealer, that would be amazing. First off, it says that we should see brighter airbrushed looking skin in seconds. This small size is just not cutting it. I'm only doing one side of my face because I want to compare it to the side without. I don't know if it's just me, but I do feel like I noticed a difference right away when I was applying it on this side of the forehead compared to this one. I definitely do feel like it blurred a bit. Only thing, probably it's the brush that I'm using. I'm finding that I do have to apply quite a lot in order to make it look like I have powder on. Maybe, you know, if you're just using this as a tool to reduce your shine, you won't have to apply as much as I am, but I'm really trying to apply it so I can really see that blurring effect. Let's go ahead and compare both sides. Wow, okay, really cool. First thing I'm noticing is that on this side, I don't know if you'll be able to tell. Let me just zoom in a little bit. Oh, you can see. So on this side, I have this smile line, and it always peeks through every time I apply foundation. Most of the foundations will reveal that fine line, which is really weird. But as you can see on this side, completely disappeared. Amazing. Off the bat, I can see that it is blurring the skin a little bit. It's smoothing it out a little bit. The blur factor is not as strong as I would like, but it definitely has smoothened it out a little bit. You know, I did have to really look and compare both sides because it's a very minimal difference. Obviously, the side without the powder has more of a dewy, hydrated look. This side has more of a now softer, smoother look. But it's still like, it's not matte yet, which is interesting. It doesn't look cakey. And as you can see, it didn't settle into my fine lines. Even on my forehead, there's like really tiny lines. And on the side without, you can see some of the lines, but this side you can't. So I would say if you have an issue with like fine lines or anything like that, like I do, then you're gonna love this powder for that. Even underneath my eyes, it's not settling into the fine lines, and if anything, has made it look a little bit smoother and better than the side without. I'm not really getting the luminosity from it. I feel like the side without is more luminous than the other side. Maybe I have to wait a while to see it become more luminous. There is a little bit of cakiness up on my forehead right here, as you can see. Sorry, that's the wrong side. Right here. Yeah, I would say I'm not quite sure how I feel about it yet. It does feel comfortable. It does feel like it's controlling the shine and helping me feel less hydrated, or well, making me feel less oily. But it's very minimal. Like, I still look at my face, and if it wasn't for this fine line right here on the side without, I would kind of struggle to see which side I have the powder on. So I'm gonna sit with it a little bit and see how I like it. I really was hoping for it to give more of that blurring factor, but we'll see. And then, I don't know, maybe the other side I'll try it with a beauty sponge and see if that works better. I'm gonna go in with my beauty sponge on this side. It's a little bit damp. I'm gonna use a pointed tip underneath my eyes. Yeah, I think I like the beauty sponge a lot more than the brush. Wow, you can really see the difference. So you can see like a little bit more texture on this side. Whereas this side, it's like almost completely blurred out. Like, you don't see any texture at all. And this is with me really close to the camera. So when I move further away, you see even less of the texture. There's the brush side and then the powder side. Also, on the side where I use the beauty sponge, it's less luminous than the side where I use the brush. I definitely like the side with the beauty sponge a lot more than the brush. I would highly recommend using a beauty sponge instead of a brush. Another thing, I wish that this compact actually came with a brush, especially considering how expensive it is. It does not settle into the fine lines, and that's probably one of my favorite things about this powder, because a lot of powders just settle into your fine lines. But that also could be because I didn't apply an extra concealer on top of my under eye foundation, so that could be why it's looking a little bit better. Another thing I really like about it is how it feels on my skin. It feels like it is soaking up some of that oil, but it doesn't feel cakey and it doesn't feel dry. Like, my skin still feels hydrated, but breathable. I guess that's a perfect way for them to describe it. It feels breathable. It feels incredibly lightweight, and honestly, it almost feels like I don't have anything on my face. When I had just the foundation on, I could feel a little bit of that hydration, but now that I have the powder on, it almost feels like I don't have anything on. No, it genuinely feels like I don't have anything on. So I really like that. Now that it's like settling more into my skin, it is giving that blur factor. I like this powder. I like it a lot. I think it's one of my favorite compacts. I think I prefer it over the Gucci powder. We'll have to see if this keeps me dry throughout the day. Otherwise, I might just have to go back to my Rimmel London because most of the powders I use don't help control my oiliness, especially throughout the day. So we're gonna see, but so far I am loving this powder. I think it is a little bit overpriced. This package is so tiny. It doesn't come with the powder. Most compacts that I've tried come with powders, and I really wish it did come with a powder. Prefer it with a beauty sponge, giving that blurring factor, smoothing out my skin. In terms of brightening, I'm not sure. I think most powders, depending on the color you use, it's going to brighten. So I don't think that should really be like something to look at. So we're going to come back in, towards the end of the day and see how this looks at the end of the day. Now here's me 8 hours later. I do look a bit shiny, and this definitely isn't a powder that looks better as the day goes by. But although I feel a bit oily, especially around my T-zone area, when I touch it, it doesn't feel oily at all. It actually feels pretty dry. It also looks pretty shiny, but it again doesn't feel that way, which is pretty strange, but I kind of like that because I know that my skin is staying hydrated. A lot of powders usually make me feel dry and cakey. I wouldn't use this powder if I were extremely oily. I also would want to keep this with me so I could touch up throughout the day. I'm going to apply some more powder just to see what it would look like with a touch up. After all, this is what I would usually do with my powders. I'd probably touch up about every few hours. Even with the Rimmel London powder, I still have to touch up, even though it does do a really good job at keeping me dry. This powder continued to feel super lightweight throughout the day. I could hardly feel it. Only around 4 hours and 6 hours, I could feel some oiliness and tingliness around the T-zone area, like my upper lip, nose, and cheek area. So overall, it is a comfortable powder that doesn't feel cakey or accentuate my fine lines. If you're interested in picking this up, I recommend getting the full size. This mini size is extremely small, way too small for $25, and it doesn't even come with a puff or a sponge. This isn't the best setting powder I've used, and I don't necessarily think it's worth the price. However, if you're looking for a lightweight powder that doesn't get cakey or accentuate fine lines, then go for it. That's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like it if you did, and also feel free to subscribe if you would like to see more content like this in the future. And I hope to see you again. Thanks for watching. Bye.
You could be my honeybee. Can you